This is a documentary video of an art exhibition by Etinosa Yvonne in collaboration with Basic Rights Counsel Initiative titled It's All in My Head.
Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. And because of that, they go ahead to execute these ones.
A lot of people are relating with the altar. And a lot of people have asked me questions about the scale of justice and why it is tilted. Yes, the reason is because a lot of survivors, a lot of victims have not gotten justice. Go around the exhibition, internalize it, and go home with a renewed mind.
See some beautiful secondary school students. How you doing? Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for taking our time out of your busy school schedule.
People are relating to the portraits, to the stories, to the videos. People have gone to the altar where we honor people who were murdered.
So rest in peace, rest in peace.
So at this point, visitors were being shown the pictures of children that were injured by their caregivers on accusation of witchcraft branding. We were also shown the handwritten notes and stories from those children who lived to tell their stories. I met up with some of my former colleagues at Basic Rights Counsel Initiative. There's Barrister Christy, Head of Legal. We have other members, volunteers of Basic Rights Counsel Initiative. And then I took some videos of myself. And that's Etinosa Yvonne answering some questions from the press. Here we have Asari Nakanda, the Public Relations Officer of Child Protection Network, Cross River State. And here we have Mr. Kebe Ikpi, the Chairperson, Child Protection Network, Cross River State. This was a 2-day art exhibition and students from different secondary schools were in attendance.
And I want to repeat myself. Since we set up formally in 2011, we've documented over 1,000. Only how many cases now?
1,031.
1,031 cases. And about half of them, or maybe about 40%, are cases of witch branding and stigmatization. She was burnt alive. You will see the video. Last year, August, about 11 or 12 persons were murdered in Cross River State. Some in Boke, some in Odupani, some in Akankpa, some in Akpabio, just last year. So it's not a thing of the past. It's still happening. A few months ago, police officers tortured a man that people allege is a witch. What is this witchcraft about? Who is a witch? Who can tell us who a witch is? Some of the people society have called witches have become graduates and productive citizens of this country. David is not here. David is a graduate of mechanical engineering, Crutech. He was called a witch, branded a witch by a church in Calabar and abandoned, and he was walking the streets. Today he's a graduate and he's doing very well. That was the person that was called the witch. A religious leader, Pastor Sam, who is not here, was also early this year, branded a witch in Akpabio. They were mobilizing to set him ablaze when we rescued him. He's in charge of a church in Akpabio. We are all vulnerable. The fact that you're safe today doesn't mean you'll be safe tomorrow. When you say God forbid, I wonder why God has not forbidden all those that have died. You must be lucky. The fact that it is not your turn today doesn't mean it will not happen to you tomorrow. Some of those signs we claim is our evidence of witchcraft are things that can be explained scientifically. There's also a reverend doctor here who will tell us about that scripture that has inspired a lot of killings. Suffer not a witch to live. Exodus 22:18. Somebody will ask, are you now saying there's no evil? Are you now saying there are no witches? Yes, it's my opinion. There are no witches and there are no wizards. What is the position of the law? In case you don't know, it is a crime to brand anybody a witch in Nigeria. The law is older than Nigeria itself because it was inherited from the colonialists. I feel ashamed when lawyers even try to justify it. I feel ashamed when doctors, when experts even try to justify the belief in witchcraft. If you read carefully section 210 to 215 of the Criminal Code Act, it is a crime to accuse anybody of witchcraft. The government of Akwa Ibom State has taken steps to criminalize branding of any person as a witch, including children. The Cross-River State government recently also did so in the Child Rights Law 2023. Please, even in your school, do not joke with stories like she's a witch, he's a witch. Because as soon as you stigmatize a person, you've only sown a seed or started the process of jungle justice, because the person may, counting on your allegations, kill the person tomorrow. When the panel starts, you listen to Victoria Oga, when her mother was brutally murdered and her auntie. Last year, August, them have been arrested and prosecuted. Not one. Why are our institutions not taking responsibility? People are scared.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, when I saw that it's all in my head. It's really in my head. This whole thing didn't even start last year. Okay? Last year my mom was murdered, but it went way back. I grew up with that stigma that my mom was a witch. I didn't have friends. I had just one. That was the only person that could come to our house and eat, and I could go to our house and eat. But for every other person, no. It's a no. We can just go out there, we play there, and then it ends there. Maybe I share my pain with you. You will say, oh, you dreamed about my mom. So I have to be careful. I love my mother with my whole heart. And my dad died, I was 4 years old. So I grew up with my mom. And it's this same person that almost everyone is calling a witch. Only to receive a call that they've arraigned my mom somewhere that she's a witch. My mom woke up that morning on Saturday going to church. She's a Catholic. They had fasting and prayer. And she went to church, finished fasting, swept the church, did the reading, and was coming back with her Bible, her rosary, and they stopped her. They said, you witch, sit here on the floor. And she sat. And the chiefs discussed everything. They said they need to see a soothsayer, and also the children are not around. Let's leave it, maybe when the children come around. And the youth said, no, you see this matter, we have to end it here. My mom wasn't alone. My mom and my aunt, the two of them, they took them to the backyard. They blindfolded them. They put them tired as if they were hardened criminals. They beat them. They tortured them. My mom is almost 80 years. Oh. And imagine that day that my mom was hungry. That she has not eaten. She went to church. And then coming back, and they collected her Bible and burnt it, set it ablaze. That you are a witch, and so you're not qualified to have a Bible. Oh. Who are you to call another person a witch? That's my beloved mom. Someone matched her leg and blood gushed out. You and that person, who is a witch? It rained heavily that day. So they were being beaten under the rain. Erosion is on them until evening. And at this point, we were busy calling one police station, calling one commissioner, calling, what can I do from here? What can my brother do from here? All of us were outside. And in my community, there's no network. The grandchild of my aunt that went to rescue the grandmother, they cut her with the cutlass, they dislocated her leg. My sister's son went. and obtained permission to carry her to the house, to untie her and take her to the house. And as he was going, the leader of the squad who had beaten them asked him, "Who asked you to carry her?" Because she's a witch, according to them. And he said, "I have obtained permission to carry her." And he carried a stick and hit him, and my man fell from his hands to the ground. And the stick they used to tie my mom's legs, like Gary, if you know how they tie Gary, they put a wood on top, put a wood beneath, tied by the side, and there were nails there. And I saw the dead body of my mom with wounds all over the leg. One hand, they broke all the bones on the hand. Sometimes I say, thank God she didn't live, because I wonder the kind of life she would have. She would have been a vegetable. The mom raised us, 9 of us. She had a disabled hand, so she used one hand, that's the left hand, to raise us. And then they say that left hand is the one she used to do the witchcraft. So they broke it, and at the end, she died.
It could be you tomorrow. It could be any of us. I never thought in my lifetime I would be branded a witch or witchcraft or witchcrafter. But here I am today. I'm inside the ocean. I don't need to be afraid again. It all happened on the 29th of June, shortly after the woman at that camp was killed. By the end of that month, I was going to my house. In the evening at about 5 p.m., my neighbor halted me outside, that I'm not entering my house. I said, "What happened?" Mrs. Esther was carrying a machete. She told me I will not, if I dare enter my compound, step into my compound, she will use the machete on me. I said, "What happened?" She said, "Come, listen to this kid. My wife brought her brother's children to stay with us. They are 11 years of age. And Mrs. Esther, who is my neighbor, also have a grandchild of 11 years. And the children started confessing that, yes, my daughter had been sick. She got up one morning and the whole hand was swollen. And in an attempt to see that the thing subside, she developed a sore on her elbow. While we were trying to treat her, the thing was just going. Until that point, 2 last time, she didn't go to school. And the children were now confessing that they are the one responsible. When they now brought me in, they said, I am their principal in the witchcraft home. That I gave them my daughter's hand to destroy. I said, I don't know what people are saying. They insisted. So Mrs. Esther and my wife said, we must get to the police station that evening. Otherwise, they were going to cut off my head. Well, I just think a clear conscience fear no accusation. I followed them to Nasarawa. If you know it might very well, Nasarawa is a place where the house has been. There's a police and army checkpoint. When we got there, the army said they cannot handle that case. They asked me to sit down. I sat down, they interrogated me, handed me over to the police, that they should take me to 8 Mile police station, Ikodogo. I went there that evening on the 29th. Police said, I just accepted now. I said, accept what? They gave me the beating of my life. They got me beaten, sent me inside the cell. I slept there till the 30th. On the 30th, they still called me at about 2. It rained that afternoon. I was wearing white and white, just like I'm dressing. And they started to interrogate me again. They said, why? Mr. Wilson, just answer now. I agree now. Is it not your child? I say, agree what? I say, okay. One of them just said, go and torture him some more. They took me again, lined me on the mud, gave me the beatings. I said, even if it is there, this is just how I will die. But I want to die for the truth. Because I don't know what people are saying. And at the end of it all, they were able to extort money from me. And I bailed myself that evening. But before this time, I don't know how the matter got to Hit FM. The matter was on air. The matter was on Facebook. Mr. Bison was being tortured by the police officers, and I had about 700 calls within the space of a day plus. And people called me all over the world. The police commissioner was interested in the matter, but you know our police system, up till now, they have not been able to carry my case file from Economy police station to see the commissioner. It can happen to you tomorrow. Assuming as I was coming back, maybe all these bad boys were around, they would have just maybe put tire on me and got me bought for something I know nothing about. So it can happen to anybody. But I pray as we live our life daily, we should be able to advocate what we are seeing here today or what we are hearing.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here. When I came into the hall, I saw my sister speaking. I was moved. I am here to share my own experience. My name is Vivian Ime. My father is from Akwa Ibom. My mother is from Akamba. It was sometimes in June, 18th of June, 2023, when we had the inaugurations of House of Assembly members, that the youth of my community blessed themselves and left the community with a Sienna bus, going for the swearing in of Honorable Okonjo Ouna. So from the story I got, I was told that the youths were drunk, they were drinking, the driver himself was drunk. When they got to Udupani, the hill, as you are ascending Udupani hill, before coming to the filling station, that was where they had the accident. A trailer was parked on its own, and the young men drove themselves under the trailer. And at the point they started pointing and accusing fingers to a particular woman who happens to be my own mother. 2 persons died instantly. The others were unconscious and were rushed to the hospital. Like the one that happened to my mother, it was caused by a particular cause group known as Activism. Before the accident, she went to the farm, she had an injured on her leg. So with that sickness, we prevented her from going to anywhere, taking treatments at home. At a point, my sister's husband came and took her to his place for her to continue her treatment there. I called the first one. What is happening? I am in the church. You say, yes. That something is going wrong. What happened? Say they have gone to the house or your in-laws place, they have carried your mother, Somebody just called me now that she is being beaten on the streets, and then she don't know the next thing that is happening to her right now. Before the information came, I saw our youth leader coming to the church, stood by the window, called the village head. He refused going out. He was still seated. Never knew that it was my own mother, the woman that carried me in her womb for 9 good months. She suffered for me even when my father was not there. And then some group of persons from nowhere just snatched her away from me in the name of calling her a witch. And before I could look to see what was going on, below it was my mother that was being burned. And the only thing I could recognize from her was her feet. Like the fire was burning her from here, then the feet were still outside the fire. That was the only thing I saw from her. You know, there are sometimes things happen to you that you cannot shout. Like there are shocks that comes to you that you cannot shout. You can't move. You're speechless. Everything in you dies off. That was what happened to me exactly that minute. I stood there. I was looking. I couldn't shout. I couldn't say a word. She asked me, why am I crying? I say, Auntie Alice, do you know that they have killed my mother? That she's the one that they are burning there, outside there. I was not crying, no. I was just saying it normally. The only thing I said was, I told to God, I said, if me serving God, like every night and day I am in the presence of God, and then God allowed this thing to happen to me, that if He does not fight my battle, I am going to derail from serving God, and then maybe we can face this other way around. There were threats. There were threats not just to any member of my family, but to me particularly. Okay, 2 persons died. So they said they needed to kill 2 people. That is me and my mother.
Media is our problem. They can also be a solution. A witch crash lands. Does a witch crash land? And this is somebody with mental health issues, maybe who for some reason climbs a tree. You know the situation of our mental health hospital, madam. So media is part of our problem. Now I collapse. Yes. And I ask you, what is the cause? I knocked down, I fell down like this. And I ask you, what is the cause? And you are telling me, what? What? Arrow. Village people. Students, you are here. What causes accidents?
Bad driving.
Bad driving. Drunkenness.
Carelessness.
Bad road. Yes. But we can't focus on these things. And we say it's what? I was coming from Oka, and they go tomorrow now, I don't wake up. They say, they have caught me. What does that mean? No medical record, no hospital, nothing. I was telling somebody, do you have a medical record? Do you go anywhere, someone will click and say, this is your medical history? No. Now the next thing is witchcraft. Look, witchcraft does not exist. Students, I'm here to answer a question. Somebody has an accident, you leave the car. You leave the driving, you leave the roads, and you look for a woman in the village who doesn't drive a car. Are you not a fool? If I call you a fool, it's an understatement.
The allegation of witchcraft branding does not exist physically. The physical element does not exist in the mental element. You cannot legally allege. The answer is no. This is the problem. Superstition. You've heard stories where a police officer even tells you that we are chasing the arm robber disappeared. No verification. I've also heard judges, lawyers, try to justify the existence of witchcraft. Shame. And when you ask them which law, they say, no, everything is not law. Say, but you're a lawyer now, you're talking to us, and you started by saying, I'm a lawyer, I'm a judge, I'm a magistrate. Statistics has it that 98% of those who are branded witches and are even murdered never get justice. Victoria's case, the case has been abandoned. Those who killed the mother and the auntie are walking free. Marshall, whose mother-in-law was murdered in Debunking, still in August last year, alongside 4 others. Marshall had to almost fund every step all the way during the investigation. So if you don't have the resources to fund police investigation, your case is never investigated. And yet, it's a crime against the state. I don't want to sound politically correct. I challenge anybody. The cameras are here to say I'm lying.
Everyone of you are waiting for you. My father died year 2000, and he was about 85. That's the date we gave. The man was more than that. And then when the young man came during the vigil night to preach, quite a young man, he began to pray against the witches and the wizards that killed the man. My father at 85. You are still thinking there's a witch somewhere that killed him. Come to this particular passage being quoted from Exodus 22. Suffer not a witch to live. You can remember a situation where Saul wanted to know the mind of God because Samuel has died. And he went and looked for the witch of Endor. Hello? So he went and looked for the witch of Endor. It was a public work that the woman was doing. A public work that helped you to know some things that you're supposed to know. And not people who are in secrecy, killing and maiming and doing all kinds of havoc to the people. So it is not people who are somewhere to secretly be doing something bad to people. So when we are thinking of witches and wizards in our own mind, and we quote Exodus 22:18 to begin to kill people. In Israel, they don't want such people, those sorcerers and magicians, to be around again. They are polluting their religion. And they did not kill them, but rather they asked them not to perform again. This woman that Saul went to was still somewhere else. That's why we call her the witch of Endor. If you now want to know things, go to Endor. The woman is still available, they have not killed her. Even the person that went there this time was King Saul himself. The person that ordered that they should go away was the one that went to the... Thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Shola Bola. Does the Bible say, carry cutlass, go to your village or your city or your house or your backyard or your neighbor and kill the person because he's a witch? One word answer, yes or no?
No. The witch of Endor, was she killed?
No.
The thoughts you are a witch keeps on reoccurring in their minds. You understand? From these negative thoughts, their mood is affected. Some of them have not even achieved closure.
What usually makes people describe themselves as witches or wizards? And how does this feature in what we are discussing today?
Yes, confession generally and legally must be taken in the context of voluntarily stating the fact that you committed a particular crime. Alleging that you're a witch itself is not a crime. Like you're saying, I'm a witch. Confession in the sense that you're confessing to committing a crime. So if you allege that you're a witch and that is taken as confession, it is not confession in law. Because we cannot prove, like I stated earlier, the physical and the mental element. So what are you confessing to? In fact, the beauty of the law is that even when you claim you've committed a crime physically, when you go to court, your confessions are not just recorded and you're convicted. The law is beautiful. After you say, they ask you, the police said, or the prosecution said, you committed this crime, are you guilty or not guilty? You say, I'm guilty. That's the confession, right? Good. Because he asked the prosecution to prove your guilt. And they must do that because the standard of proof is beyond reasonable doubt.